Hello.
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Glad to get that first exam out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking yesterday, if we only had half an hour, I don't think I would have done as well as I did. So um, the pressure was a lot. So that extra half hour kind of took it off. That
Good.
was nice. Yeah,
Good. And how was the time for today's section? Is that
it was good. I
a
think I had
little?
like 10 minutes left, but my brain kind of hurt by the end of it. I just kind of said, I'm
Yep.
done. I'll get what I get. Yeah.
Yeah. Einstein, so we should be able to join us. So you said you're from Minnesota, actually?
I'm sorry?
You said you're from Minnesota?
Yeah.
From
That's where I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah, so Shakopee. And
Shakopee.
then I lived on Grand Avenue for about 3 years before I moved out here.
Okay. Funny. Yep, I
Yeah.
grew up in Minnesota in South St. Paul. I'm moving back there to live right Mississippi Market, if you know where that is, right near the cathedral.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Yeah, I used to work at the Kowalski's on Grand Avenue,
okay,
and
yeah,
then the SA right next to St. Thomas.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, I used to manage there, and yeah,
funny.
small world.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right.
How was your brother's graduation?
It was good. It was actually really cold and rainy. It was like in the 50s and rain, so they moved it all inside. They said if it was just like sprinkling, they were going to keep it outside, which would have been horrible.
Hmm.
Outside in the rain, 50 degrees. Yeah. So it was good.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Morning, Nathan. Hello.
Hello, sorry.
No, it's okay. How are you doing?
I'll see.
How are you feeling?
I feel good. I did pretty. I did pretty good yesterday. So I mean,
Yeah.
at least that's something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I did okay. I mean, we'll see.
And you're up. You're the equivalent of halfway through one graduate level course. Because
I don't
this
feel.
is
I
the
don't.
equivalent of two graduate level courses. You're halfway
Yeah.
through one.
I don't feel like it, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting because like test wise, like maybe I didn't do so hot, but like on this one, but I feel like I could still like read that passage and get like the gist of it and understand it, and that's really like the most important thing. So
That's and rewarding after a week and a half.
It is, yeah. Like I was able to. I mean, maybe I messed up like one verb or a tense, but like I could understand I understood most of it, and I feel like that's a real important thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I spaced on a couple of the verbs there. I should have worked on my vocab a little more. So.
You can never stop saying that, pretty much.
Okay.
I should have worked on my vocab more. Yep. 14 years into Latin, I should work on my vocab more. I know a lot, but whatever.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah. Actually, the author I picked uses vocab that like nobody knows. So
yeah, and it's funny. I actually read the Iliad last semester, so like it was actually made it easier for me to like because I know what they were talking about, so I could like made it a bit easier for me. So that was good.
That's always good. Yeah. No, I mean, like you learn some vocabulary, but like I couldn't talk about making a cake in Latin. No idea. I have a little book that has like the names of relatives, so I've learned what an uncle and aunt and cousin. I forgot what cousin was, but actually it's interesting. They have different words for maternal and paternal aunts and uncles.
Interesting.
And the reason is, I think, because in Latin it matters which side you're on. Generally, and you're inheriting from one side, from your father's side, and so there's a specific sort of relationship with people on that side, and you just have ties of kinship and affection, but nothing financial or anything like that with your mother's side. So it's interesting.
I had a question.
Please.
One of the verbs I didn't get was I thought it was like I wasn't sure because in Colette that's that. I didn't know what that was.
I believe that's a verb from Unit 4, in colo and coletta.
I thought it was like inhabitants, but I'm like, no, wait, that doesn't make sense.
And maybe it's from Unit 3. Yeah, to in colo. Oh, where are you? Is to inhabit, to live somewhere.
Well, let's see. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah,
now
it's
that
from
sense
Unit
makes
2.
sense. Okay.
And that was like doubly vague because that was also one for the you had to do for the syntax as well. So I was like, it's like one of the few verbs I didn't get. But I mean, I just put in like ... so you could still like
Yeah. No pressure.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get started. As I was saying, quarter of the way through this course, halfway through a graduate level course, you're doing great. So I'm going to start with one of those presentations where I show you everything that we're going to do this module.
Sweet.
And you will see that we're doing rather less, I think, than last module, so that should be comforting.
That is good. That is good.
Okay.
I think it's interesting how much easier it is to learn a language when that's all you're doing. I mean, that's all I'm doing. At least.
Yeah.
I'm not even working right now.
Yep.
Decided to take the first 2 weeks off just so I could get down the fundamentals.
Immersion.
I'm still working. Like I work like 3-4 hours a day. I literally go to work after my schedule is this, then work, and then study, then sleep. That's like literally.
Yep. Yep.
I know. I think yesterday I like ate dinner, and that was the only thing I did that was like outside of Latin.
Yeah.
Flashcards while I'm eating. Like.
I hear you. Okay, so here is Module 2. An overview of the grammatical concepts and forms we will cover in Module 2. So parts of speech, we've already learned all the invariable words, and learned some of them, conjunctions, interjections, and prepositions. So inflected words, we have nouns and verbs, and in the nouns section, we have nouns, pronouns, and adjectives. So for nouns, we've mostly learned everything. Well, we will have learned everything by the time we end Module 2. So we've learned the first and second declension. This module will learn the other 3, third, fourth, and fifth. We've learned all the genders, all the numbers, and we're going to learn the last 2 cases. Vocative, which is super easy, and locative, which is only used very, very rarely. So not too much. And then pronouns, right? A word that's used in place of a noun. So he, she, that one, etc. Who. We're going to learn the personal, right? I, you, he. Relative, who, as in the man who. Interrogative, who, as in who's coming. And reflexive, myself, himself, etc. The genders, the numbers, and the cases. And then for adjectives, We've already learned about 212 adjectives. Then we're going to learn about the other type of adjectives, which are third declension. We've already learned gender, number, case. We're going to add vocative. And then we're going to add demonstrative adjectives, this, that, personal, and interrogative, which. And that's it for nouns and other such words. Then in the verb category, for finite verbs, we have all the conjugations, all the persons, all the numbers. We're going to add in some paraphrastic tenses, which sounds horrible, but is actually incredibly easy. We've learned both voices, and then we're going to learn the last mood, which is imperative. Then, under weird verbs, we're going to learn a few more irregular verbs. That is one more. And then under non-finite verbs, verbal nouns, verbal adjectives. In the verbal nouns category, we're going to learn infinitives, tense of infinitives in the voice. And then in verbal adjectives category, which is another word for participle, we're going to learn the tenses in the voices, the declensions, the genders, numbers, and cases. But these are just special adjectives, so it's not really anything very new to learn, just to learn how to form these special adjectives from the verb. So that's it for parts of speech. Then in sentence structure, we know how to make a direct statement. We're going to learn how to make a direct command. We're going to learn the imperative mood, and so that's how we'll make a direct command. Then in complex sentence structure, we already know how to make an indirect command. Now we will learn how to make an indirect statement. And in subordinate clauses that use finite verbs, we already know how to do a purpose clause. We'll also learn how to do relative clauses with our relative pronouns. And that's it. So, not that there's nothing to learn, but compared to learning all of the indicative and subjunctive, active, and passive, all persons and numbers, I think this will feel like a fairly, at least an easier module.
Okay.
Questions about that? Okay. Then we will move to the presentation for today. Module 5, Unit 5. Okay. So in this unit, we're going to learn participles, the periphrastic tenses, and the irregular verb possum, as well as the complementary infinitive, and then the dative of possessor. So participles. What is a participle? A participle is a verbal adjective. So it's an adjective. It's something that describes a noun, but it's verbal, meaning it's formed from a verb. Well, so it's verbal. It describes action, right? The running man, the observed lion, whatever. It describes some action. It has voice, right? The observed lion, whatever, did something. That has voice, that's passive. The running man, that has voice, that's active. It has tense, although the tense is relative. It can take a direct object, the man singing a song, right? A song is the direct object of singing, the participle. And it can even introduce a subordinate clause. So the man competing to win the prize fell down. Right? That introduced a subordinate purpose clause. It's adjectival. in that it modifies a noun, so agrees in gender, number, and case. It declines, like all adjectives, right? Singular, plural, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. Agrees in gender, number, and case with the noun it modifies. And those are the ways in which the participle is either verbal, is both verbal and adjectival. Questions so far? Okay. So there are 4 Latin participles. We have a lot more in English, and Greek has way more than we do, even. So we'll be glad we're in Latin. Just 4. There's the present active participle, the perfect passive participle, the future active participle, and the future passive participle. So the present active participle in English is running, shouting, sitting, studying, etc. In an example, the gawking tourist took pictures of everything he saw. So you can see this is gawking is from the verb to gawk, but it's modifying the noun tourist. It's telling us what kind of tourist, the gawking tourist. There's no present passive participle in Latin. There is one in English, but not in Latin. Then we have the perfect passive participle. In English, having been shouted, or just shouted, but it's a little clearer to say having been shouted, having been studied, having been built. So we might say the shouted words echoed across the canyon, but to be a little bit more clear, the having been shouted words echoed across the canyon. So what kind of words? The having been shouted words. It's adjectival, but it describes an action that is perfect and passive. We also have the future active participle. In English, we would say about to run, or going to shout, or going to build, or about to study. So the woman about to run tied her shoes tightly. Right? What kind of woman was she? She was an about to run woman. That's future and active. And the future passive participle, going to be shouted, or about to be built, or having to be studied. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So the about to be built home was still merely a dream in Franklin's mind. We don't use this participle clearly all that much in English, which is why it sounds quite awkward. But we do have it. We can form it clearly. Any questions so far? So what I said, the participles have tense, but they are the tense is relative. Can anyone explain what that means? So look at the first example. The present active participle. So present means ongoing, right? Currently happening. But is that action currently happening right now? The gawking tourist took pictures of everything he saw. Is that something that's happening this very second?
No, it's happening in the past.
It's happening in the past. So why is it present? How do we mean it's present?
Because the actual noun, like gawking, is present, or he is gawking.
Adjective, yeah. So it's present from what perspective?
It's contemporaneous with the action that happened.
Exactly. It's present as far as the main verb is concerned. It's present to the main verb. And so the time is relative to the main verb. So it's not an absolute present, like right now at 11:32 Eastern Standard Time, but present as far as the main verb is concerned. And so the perfect means it is past as far as the main verb is concerned, right? The having been shouted words echoed across the canyon. The shouted words echoed across the canyon, right? They echoed, but first they were shouted. So it's past as far as the echoing is concerned. And then the woman about to run tied her shoes tightly. Again, that's future as far as the time the shoes are concerned. Probably she already ran yesterday or whatever it was. But it's future in relation to the main verb, relative to the main verb. Is that clear?
Yeah.
No? Yes?
So, like the main.
Close.
Can you just maybe explain that? It's relative to the main verb. So.
Yeah, the tense is relative to the main verb, meaning if I say present, I mean it's present to the main verb. It's happening at the same time as the main verb. If I say it's perfect, it means it already happened in the past as far as the main verb is concerned.
Okay.
So if I say the shouted words echoed across the canyon, it means yesterday the shouted words echoed across the canyon. They were shouted before they echoed. Today, right now, the shouted words are echoing across the canyon. It's past as far as right now echoing is concerned.
Okay.
If you shout in half an hour, the shouted words will echo across the canyon. They will be in the past as far as the will echo is concerned.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we also said these participles clearly can have voice, either active or passive. 2 of them are active, 2 of them are passive. What does that mean? Who did the action if it is active, if it's an active participle? If it's an active main verb, it means the subject of the main verb did the action. If it's an active participle, what does that mean? Who did the action?
Somebody else to the subject?
Not necessarily, because
Okay.
in the first example, the gawking tourist, the tourist is actually the subject of the main verb, and they're also the person who gawked.
Because that's the active one, though.
Yeah. But let's say, I could also say, I instinctively disliked the gawking tourist.
Okay.
Right? I'm not gawking. I am doing the main verb. But the participle is still present and active. Right? I instinctively disliked the gawking tourist. So, who is gawking?
Tourist?
The tourist. And how is the tourist related to the participle? If the participle is an adjective, what is tourist as regards that adjective?
No.
A noun.
The noun, it modifies, right? So when we say active, it means the noun that the participle modifies is who did the action. And if it's passive, the noun that the participle modifies is who or what received the action.
Oh, okay.
So the shouted words, what received the action of shouting? The words. It doesn't matter how the words function. They could be the subject, they could be the direct object, they could be the indirect object, they could be the object of a preposition or any other number of things. The participle just tells us the voice in relation to the noun that it's modifying. So the noun that it's modifying is either active, it's the subject if it's active, or the recipient if it's passive. Okay, is that okay? You understand that? Do you have any questions? Okay. So how do we form the Latin participles? Well, the present active participle is formed from the present stem and the vowel or vowels that in fact are the same vowels that you use in the imperfect indicative before the ending, and then the ending ns. And that looks weird, right? We do not know any adjectives that end in ns yet, and so we can't really talk about this participle much because we don't know how to decline. So then the perfect passive participle, as we've already talked about briefly in our compound tenses, is the fourth principal part. That's a participle, so it's a verbal adjective. The fourth principal part, which always ends in us, so it's whatever that is, aum, right? So tacitus aum, that's the participle. So the fourth principal part of any verb is the masculine singular nominative form of the perfect passive participle. And then the future active participle is pretty easy to form. You just take the perfect passive participle and add "ur" before the ending. So if we take monitus aum, having been warned, and we add in "ur" before us aum, we get moniturus aum, which means about to warn. And then the future passive participle, we use the present stem, and again the same vowels as in the imperfect indicative, but without macrons, and then indus, inda, indum. So, for example, participles in the first conjugation. Present stem is or, and then the vowel that we use before the imperfect indicative is a long A, and then the ending ns. Orans, 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 meaning praying. And then there's no perfect passive or present passive participle or perfect active participle, but there's a perfect passive participle. Oratus aum, we go to the fourth principal part, and then just add aum for the feminine and neuter forms. Having been prayed, oratus aum, and then we take that same form for the future active and just add a ur, oraturus aum, oratura, oraturum, meaning about to pray, and then orandus aum, orandus aum, so going to be prayed. Questions about that? So using the verb moneo, can anyone form the present active participle of the second conjugation? So present stem is mon, and then we use the vowel that we use in the imperfect indicative, and then ns.
Say that one more time, how you form? What are we
take the
forming?
present stem. So in the example, it's mon.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I don't mean like, what are you asking again?
Oh, I'm asking you to form the present active participle of moneo.
Okay.
So
would that be monens?
monens, 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 which means warning. So, right, if we were doing the imperfect indicative, it'd be mone, bam, mone, bas, mone, ba. Yep, it's a long E, monen, so that's present active participle. And then the perfect passive makes monitus, fourth principal part, plus aum, having been warned. And then moniturus, about to warn, and monendus, about to be warned. So the present active and the future passive both use the present stem. And then the perfect passive and the future active both use the fourth principal part.
So I would like present, for like instance present, how would that sound like for to warn? Would it be like to to the warning bell, or like warning tower?
Warning. Yep, warning. The warning, yes.
Like tower. Yeah.
Yes, the warning alarm, the warning email was sent out to everyone about
Okay.
the spam. Yeah. And then ago, agere, right? Again, in the third conjugation, we use a long E. So agens, agens, agens. So Nathan, how would you translate that?
What's that? To do
Yeah.
the conduct. The doing. I don't know.
Yeah, the doing man.
The
The man
I
doing
don't
the job was,
The
6
doing-
feet tall.
Okay.
And then actus. Could you do that one?
I don't. I can't. I don't.
So having been done. So having been, and then the past participle. Having been done.
Okay.
And then acturus, about to do. And then agendus, having to be done or about to be done.
So how would you use those with the nouns then?
So acturus, the man about to do the deed, was nervous. Acturus. The life, again, the life that must be led by a philosopher is difficult. We will often translate these rather more complex participles as relative clauses, the life which must be led, instead of the having to be led life. But that's how Latin says it, so we're going to try practicing that for a little while. And then Facians. So, Rachel, could you translate that? This is the third IO.
Yeah. So present, making, and then perfect passive.
Mhm.
So having been made.
Yeah.
And then active future, about to make. And then future passive, going to be made.
Exactly. Great. And then in the fourth conjugation, again, it's just like the third IO. So, Corey, could you do sentience?
Yeah.
Sentience.
The perceiving girl.
Yes, the perceiving girl. The girl perceiving whatever was silent.
Perfect passive.
Mm-hmm.
Having been perceived.
Mm-hmm.
Future active. About to perceive.
Good.
So, okay, and then future passive would be about to have. About to have been seen. Perceived.
Yeah, about to have been perceived. Going to be perceived.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So now that may seem like, wow, these are tricky, and they are a little bit. But I will just start off by showing you how many of these we actually have in English. So the present active participle, for reasons that will become very clear soon, but not yet. When you use this participle in English, you change the S to a T. So the participle parens, meaning giving birth to someone, becomes parent. Recumbens, which means lying down, becomes recumbent. Errans, meaning wandering, becomes errant. Belligerens, which is gero gerde. Gerens plus belly. Belly. Gerens belligerent means waging war. Male volens, which means volo means to wish. So malevolent means wishing evil. Milito militare is to wage war, so militant is waging war. Sentiens becomes sentient, right? He was sentient. Agens becomes agent, the doing person. Agen, the agent. Those are just some examples of the present active. And then the perfect passive, data, which is from dodare dedi datus. So data is the things having been given. Dictum, from dico dicere dixi dictus, so the thing having been said is a dictum. Postpartum, post having given birth, patio is to give birth, so postpartum. After having given birth, cantata, from canto cantare, to sing, having been sung. Actus, act. Factus, fact. So act, what has having been done thing. Fact, the having been done thing also. The future active participle, I don't think we have many in English. The only one I can think of is future, from futuros, but it's pretty straightforward. And then I'll maybe let you give a shot. Can anyone think of any words in English that end in endus? Or maybe, well, generally they're going to end in nda or endum. Endum. We actually saw one. What's from aga? What would be the future passive participle? It's a third, so agendus, agenda, agendum. Agenda, the things having to be done, right? The agenda is the things that have to be done. It's a future passive participle. Anything else? How about memorandum, the thing that has to be remembered. Addendum, the thing that has to be added. Corrigenda, I don't remember how to say that. Corrigenda, I think in English. The things that have to be corrected. So if you publish or trying to publish a book, they might send you the corrigenda, the things having to be corrected. Referendum, propaganda, the names Amanda and Miranda. So what does Amanda mean? If it's coming from amo, amare, amari, amatus, amandus, aum. So Amanda is she, what?
What's it come from?
Amo, amare, meaning to love.
Oh, okay. So she having been loved?
Not having been, it's not past, but future.
Oh, okay. About to love? Going to love?
Passive. So the going to be loved woman, the woman who's going to be loved. Miranda is from miror, mirari, which means to admire. So the woman who will be admired. Reverend, right? The person who has to be revered. Dividend, legend, and then ecclesiastically we talk about confirmands or confirmandi, people who are going to be confirmed. And the ordinand is a person who's going to be ordained. So we do have these participles in English.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And then there's one phrase that you should know, or it's a Latin phrase, but used in English. De gustibus non disputandum. So non disputandum, there should not be disputing. The future participle often has a sense of obligation. So there should not be disputing. De gustibus meaning about taste. So if you are having an argument about whether, you know, a particular artist is terrible or wonderful, and it's just getting nowhere, you might just say, you know what, guys, de gustibus non disputandum. Matter of taste, and you can't argue someone in and out of taste, right? If they don't like grape jelly, you're not going to convince them intellectually that they should, right? It's just not going to happen. Taste is not a matter of argument. Okay, so let's look at drill number 1, which is on page 92, and get a little practice with these participles.
Sorry, which page?
92?
92. Okay.
So Rachel, you start us off.
Okay, so quid tiligens. So and then so reading not
Intelligence.
knowledgeable, knowledge,
Understand.
understand.
Into Lego.
And then just Legos, read.
Yeah.
Again. So reading boy.
Understanding. But
Understanding.
Yes,
Sorry.
The understanding boy.
Okay.
It's okay. Hence, right, intelligent, right? It just means a person who's understanding. Nathan, how about number 2?
The responding poet.
The responding poet. Good. Number 3, Corey.
The warring town.
Yes, the warring town. Rachel?
The that verb, I just had it and I don't.
It's very close. Take out the I and add in an O. I mean, before the U. D-O-U-B. Doubting.
Yeah, hesitate, doubt.
Yeah.
So doubting son.
The doubting son. Yep. Or if they say doubting Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas Doobie Thomas. Nathan?
The warning God.
The warning God. Corey?
The listening friend.
The listening friend. Rachel?
The capturing inhabitant.
Yeah, so the inhabitant copying, opiating the inhabitant, capturing the town, was very happy. Nathan, how about number 8? We don't have a present active participle. We have coctus, what is that?
That's the perfect passive.
Yeah.
So then the had been captured inhabitants.
Having been captured.
Having been captured inhabitants.
Just one of him. Coctus.
Oh, yeah, it's single. All right, so
Yeah.
1. Okay.
The having been captured inhabitant was put on trial or something. And then what would 8B be?
The I don't know, the O at the end.
Yeah, what case are those? Incolai Cocteau?
So that's the having been captured inhabitants.
Nope, because that would be Incolai Cocti. Those would be nominative plural. Incolai Cocteau, we've got to figure out where does the first declension line up with the second declension in such a way that those would both be the same case, because it has to agree in gender, number, and case. So Incola is masculine, so Copto, right, has to be
Yeah.
the adjective from the second.
The captured. I don't know.
It's
So, I mean-
dative. It's dative.
Oh, but so they're both dative. I thought we were doing.
Mhm.
Oh, so it's future active. So it's future active, right? Then
No.
I
Why
don't-
would it be future active?
I don't know.
Okay.
I
It's
don't-
just the adjective captus aum, but this is a regular 2-1-2 adjective. So it's captus aum, capti, captai, capti, captai, capto, captum, captam, captum, etc. It has
Yeah.
all the different cases. So this is dative. So just how do you translate a dative, basically?
To and from.
Yeah, 2 and
So-
4.
2 and 4.
So,
The inhabitants,
Oh.
to be captured, to be captured inhabitants.
no, so it's perfect passive, so we still want it to be having been captured. So for the having been captured inhabitant. Life was hard in Kolai Capto for the having been captured inhabitant.
Okay, so then what? So then what is that then? And so what participle is that? That's
That's the perfect passive participle.
oh
So it's captus aum. So capt is the stem and then it just has an ending. It's not capturo, that you are plus an ending would be the future.
so it's just supposed to match for the passive like that. It's supposed to match what the noun is then essentially.
It has to agree in gender, number, and case with the noun it modifies. Remember your tattoo that you're going to get. Adjectives must agree in gender, number, and case with the noun they modify. Don't get that. That would be a horrible tattoo. But tattoo it into your brain. And then can you do C? 8C?
Yeah. I mean, I'll try.
Okay. So these are both masculine genitive plural.
So genitive. So that's of
Mhm.
the capture. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah. Of
The inhabitants of being captured.
Of the having been captured inhabitants.
Of the having been captured inhabitants.
So the names of the captured inhabitants, which sounds better, but a little more clear. The having been captured inhabitants were Marcus, Aurelius, and Cornelius, something like that.
Okay.
Corey, number 9.
Of the having been sent letters.
Yes, the having been sent letters were returned because of improper postage. And then B.
Okay. And then dative, right?
Yeah.
Or appellative.
Right.
So with the having been sent letters?
Yes, exactly. Right. He made his plans known to the general by means of the having been sent letters or something like that. Rachel, number 10.
I had a quick question about 9A.
Yeah.
So that stem, for lack of a better word, is that the correct word? For like miss.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's So that was in the perfect passive, the way he
Mhm.
translated. Okay.
Mhm.
So how is the stem for the perfect passive different than the one for the future passive?
For the future active, you mean?
I mean, no, future passive. Maybe I just wrote this all down wrong.
The future passive is the present stem, so it would be
Okay.
MITT, mitendus.
Okay, yeah. So then the future active has the or added, and that's how you
Yes,
can tell it apart
so
from the perfect passive.
yeah. So
Okay.
misai are letters having been sent.
Mhm.
Misurus, the man about to send literas.
Mhm.
Misurus, literas, about to send.
Okay. Okay, so the next one, number 10A,
Mhm.
Inimicus expulsus, expulsus, that's perfect passive.
Mhm.
And then it would be nominative singular.
Mhm.
So had been the enemies had been, or the expelled enemies.
Yes, the having been expelled. If you say
The
had,
having been.
it makes it indicative. Having makes it
Okay.
participle. The having been expelled. Or just the expelled, right?
Okay.
You could just say the expelled kid, whatever, got into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But just to be clear that we're not saying the kid was expelled or the school expelled, right? Those are indicatives. We say
Yeah.
having been, there it gets a participle.
Yeah.
And then B and C.
So that's still perfect passive, and then the C, and then C's. Or no, okay. So it could be a few different things
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
So it could be nominative plural. So
Yeah.
like they having been, so enemies plural having been expelled.
Yes, the expelled enemies. Yeah. And you don't have to do all the options.
Okay.
So I really understand that. And then maybe C, just pick either dative or ablative.
Okay. So either way it's singular, and then indirect have it, I mean it would still just be having been expelled, enemies expelled.
Yeah, for the having been expelled enemy. Yeah. Yep. How about number 11?
The having been read book.
Yeah. So the Liber Lectus was on the shelf. The red book, the having been read book, was on the shelf.
And then of the read book,
How many?
read books.
Yes, of the having been read books. So the names of all the having been read books, all the books having been read by me, right? Or on the list, which would be impossible. But anyway, yes. And then Corey.
The having been made earn,
So
or the having been made earn.
so the urn fakta in a shop in Athens was sold for whatever. And then yes,
E would be the with the having been made earns.
okay. Then how about 13?
Is that my turn or Nathan's?
I think it's your turn.
Okay. 13. So
What kind of participle is that?
it's the perfect passive.
Ender?
And then the is a nominative singular. So destroyed or
And
having
it's
been
not, it's not actually. Perditus aum is the fourth control part. If it ends in, if there's an nd before the ending,
Mhm.
I can almost guarantee you it's going to be the future passive.
Okay.
So, right, agenda, legend, memorandum, it's all about to be blanked, verbed, or going to be verbed.
Okay. Okay, so will be destroyed kingdom.
Yes, the kingdom about to be destroyed
Kingdom about to be destroyed.
was in terror or something.
And then the next one would be kingdoms
Mhm.
about to be destroyed. And then kingdom about to be destroyed again.
For the kingdom about to be destroyed. Good.
Okay.
14, Nathan.
The looked at slaves.
Not spectati. Those would be the having been looked at slaves, but this is not perfect passive, but this is the future passive. Spectandi.
So that would be having to be looked at slaves.
Yes, having to be looked at slaves, right? Or the about to be looked at slaves.
Or the and then of the looked about to be looked at slaves.
Good, good. So the title of the movie about to be seen is, I don't know, Rogue One, right? Of the movie going to be seen, right? We don't do that generally as a participle. We use the movie that you're going to see or something, but Latin is all about efficiency. And if you can do 5 words in 1 word, might as well. And then we'll skip down a little. And Corey, would you use 17?
Yeah. So, what's that form of the?
So, respondere, respondere, respondi, responsus. So responsus is the fourth control part. And then you say it's not responsa, but responsura.
Sponsor.
So that is the future active participle.
Future. Okay. So, the about to be responding girl.
Yeah, about to respond. Yeah. So the girl about to respond
Okay.
Choked on her words or something.
Okay. And then B is just plural. The girl's about to
Yeah.
respond.
Good. Okay. Questions about that? So you can get a whole lot of action in with just one participle because you've got, it's an adjective, so you can just keep it 1 word, modifying a noun. But you can have action, you can have active or passive, you can have tenses, right? There's a lot that can go on in just these little words. Okay. Then let's, does anyone have any questions? So we'll just keep going with topics for today. Okay. Then, okay, so right here, classic forms. Paraphrasis, is a Greek word, and the Latin, it's an English word from Greek, and the translation of it into an English word from Latin would be circumlocution. So periphrasis means talking around something, and circumlocution means talking around something. So paraphrastics are combinations of a participle and the verb to be to supplement the 6 tenses of Latin, because it's not a lot of tenses actually. There's a lot more ways you can think about time than just 6. So they indicate an action that is or was or will be in the proximate future. So the future active participle or the future passive participle plus the form of the verb to be equals an active or passive periphrastic. That sounds difficult, but it's really not, because you just translate the verb to be and then you translate the participle. So responsurus sum is I am, and then the future active participle about to respond. And so that's the future proximate tense, I suppose we would say in English. I am on the verge of responding. I'm going to respond. Not I will respond, in 3 years, but I'm about to respond to your question. Hold on 2 seconds. And likewise, you can use any tense of the verb to be, and you just translate the verb to be and then the participle. So, eram responsurus, I was about to respond. I shall be about to respond. I have been about to respond. I had been about to respond. I shall have been about to respond. Is that clear? Do you have any questions? How is this not a compound tense? Well, it's not a compound tense because in the compounds you have to translate the whole phrase as a whole. You can't say monitus sum. It's not, you don't translate each part individually. You just say I was warned. That's a perfect active, the perfect passive indicative. But for the periphrastics, you just translate each constituent part and you come up with the right translation. And then you can also do the passive periphrastics. Respondendum est, it is having to be responded. It was having to be responded, etc. Did I convince you? Ooh, stop that. That was easy, or you're like, no idea what's going on?
Seems easy.
Yeah, it seems easy once I memorize everything. I mean,
Once you know what the participles mean,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not like, sort of, what the heck's going on there? You're like, oh yeah, it's future active, and I know how to do a future active.
once I commit it to memory, I don't have to keep looking back to see what it means. Yeah.
Yeah, and you only do periphrastics with future participles. These are the only
Oh.
periphrastics, and
Yeah.
you just do it with
Yeah,
a
that makes
future
sense.
active or a future passive. So it just gives the sense of not he was, but he was about to do something, right? So that's sort of I don't even know what tense that would be in English. I'm sure it has a name, right? He is about to. So we want to talk about the past, the future as far as the past is concerned. We don't have a tense for that in Latin, so we just use a future participle with an imperfect verb to be. Okay. Then we'll keep going. Oh, no, actually, let's look at exercise 3 really briefly. So, exercise 3 on page 93, Missouri sunt, they are about to be sent. I mean, they are about to send. Missouri erant, they were about to send. Missouri erunt, they will be about to send. Credendum est, it is having to be handed over, or it must be betrayed. It is having to be betrayed, or it must be betrayed. So oppidum credendum erat. Nathan, could you translate that?
So, do you want me to?
Mhm.
The village is about to be betrayed.
Erat, not est.
The village was about to be betrayed.
Yes. Or number 8. Corey, will you take that?
Yeah. So that would be so the girls were
The sententiae is the subject. Well, alarum is genitive plural.
wait, the subject is what? I'm sorry.
Sententiae?
Yeah. So
So the opinions.
the opinions were about to be changed.
They sunt.
They are
Yeah.
they are
And
being
whose
changed.
opinions?
The opinions of the girls are being changed.
Are about to be changed.
Are about to be changed.
About to be changed. Rachel, number 10.
Sorry, I'm finishing writing that one. Be changed. 10. Venia attenda est.
Peto petera.
Seek.
Yeah.
Venia seek est is est. That's not wind.
No, that's ventus.
Ventus.
Venia is venial.
So like venerate to come, but then
No, venia venire. Venia is grace, favor, indulgence,
Okay.
kindness.
so he is about to seek favor, grace.
What case is venia?
That's plural because Winnie is not feminine.
No, venia is feminine.
Okay.
It's the first declension.
So it's
Favor is petenda.
nominative. So favor is about to be sought.
Sought, exactly. So that's petenda is the passive.
Okay.
The future passive. But mali veniam petituri errant, the evil people errant were petituri, about to seek veniam, favor.
Favor. Okay.
Does that make sense? We just took a test and now we're trying to introduce you to participles and all the different ways to use participles, and it's a lot, but conceptually at least, do you have any questions? Anything you're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Now, the future paraphrastic, the active paraphrastic, future active paraphrastic, never has any idiomatic meanings, but the future passive paraphrastic often has a sense of obligation to not just what is going to happen, but what should be about to happen. So, oppidum tradendum erat means not only, well, it could mean just the city was about to be destroyed, but it could also mean the city was having to be, betrayed. The city was having to be betrayed, or the city had to be betrayed. Or venia petenda est can mean favor is about to be sought, or it can mean favor is having to be sought, meaning favor must be sought. So the most famous phrase about Carthage in Latin is Carthago delenda est. Right? And whoever he was, Cato the Elder, some ancient famous Roman politician, was not just saying Carthage is going to be destroyed, but Carthago delenda est, Carthage must be destroyed. This is in Carthago delenda est, Carthage must be destroyed, is having to be destroyed, which means it must be destroyed. So the passive periphrastic often has a sense of obligation or necessity. And the person who performs the passive periphrastic is not an ablative. It's not an a or ab plus the ablative, but you just use the dative case. So Carthago Romanis delenda est, Carthage has to be destroyed by the Romans. There's a dative of agent with the periphrastic. I expect you to read that and understand it. I don't expect you to know it, but I wanted to have said it. You're like, no, I have no idea what's going on. Maybe you do, which is fine. But if you don't, that's fine. You can read it in your book, and I think it'll make sense. And I'm just glossing over that super briefly because I do have to introduce a few more things that I think are slightly more important. But questions so far about that? Okay. Now, briefly, there's something called the dative of possessor. So possession in English is almost always indicated by genitive, right? Of the name of him, of the man is John, or the man's name is John. In Latin, you can use a genitive, but you can also use a dative. So you could say the name of the man or the name to the man. And in fact, that's a little bit more regular in Latin. So in Latin, you don't say the name of me is Kathleen. You say nomen mihi, which is a dative. So nomen mihi Kathleen next. The name to me is Kathleen. It's a dative of possession, because I possess the name Kathleen. But you would translate that dative as a genitive because you indicate possession with a genitive in English. Okay. Last topic, which is a whole new irregular verb and yet weirdly simple. This is the verb possum, posse, potui, and it means to be able. To possum, I am able. Of course, like all irregular verbs, it's only irregular when it uses the present stem, right? Once you get to the perfect stem, the perfect indicative, the pluperfect indicative, the future perfect indicative, the perfect subjunctive, and the perfect pluperfect subjunctive, it's all regular. You just take the third principal part, potu, drop the I, potu, drop the I, and leaving with potu, and that's a perfect stem, and you do regular things with it. Now, so it seems like, okay, but now I have to learn 5 different tenses of this irregular verb. That doesn't seem simple. Well, it is actually, because to find the irregular forms, you just add pot to the appropriate form of the verb sum. And you change that T to an S when there's another S afterward. So, sum ss, sumus esti sunt, means I am, you are, he, she, it is, etc. Pot sum, which becomes possum. Potest, pot sumus, which becomes possumus. Potestis and potsunt, which becomes possunt, is I am able, you are able, he, she, it is able. We are able, y'all are able, they are able. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the T changes to an S because if you try to say potsum, a lot of times you'll end up with saying possum, potsum, 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 possum. It just happens. Linguistics. So then the imperfect indicative. Rachel, could you give me I was able?
Imperfect indicative. So you said you add essay. I'm sorry, do you add the same form
Yeah, the exact same form.
of S? So it's always even
So-
to find the imperfect indicative?
Yeah, what's the imperfect indicative of sum?
Eram,
Eram, so
So-
add POT.
poteram. So okay, so the I guess according form of essay, not
Yeah,
just the same form.
The appropriate form is sort of, yeah, the
Okay.
corresponding form. Maybe that would be a better way to say it.
Okay.
So poteram, poteras, poterat, poteramus, poteratis, poterant. I was able, you were able, etc. And then, Nathan, can you do I will be able?
Yeah, potero, poteris, poterit, poterimus, poteritis, and potererunt.
Poterunt. Yeah,
Poterunt.
poterunt. Good. And then, Corey, could you do the present subjunctive? I may be able.
Present subjunctive.
Mhm.
I'm drawing a blank here. Okay, so possim or possum, and then
Exactly. Possum.
posses. Okay.
Yeah. So all those T's change to S's because all these forms begin with S. And then, again, for the imperfect subjunctive, take the infinitive, right, as we always do, which is posse. And then just add your endings. You can see posse is actually potesse, but over thousands of years of usage and being irregular, it got shortened to posse. Questions about that? Does that seem easy, actually?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay. And then we said the tenses that use the perfect stem are all regular. So, Rachel, what would be the perfect indicative? You take the perfect stem and then irregular endings.
Can I like step back real fast to the imperfect subjunctive?
Yeah.
How is that irregular if it's the infinitive and then endings?
It's a weird looking infinitive, so it's really not super irregular.
Okay.
Just the infinitive is irregular.
Okay.
Okay. So we can call it irregular, but it's the same formation. Yeah.
Okay. So sorry, then what was the one you wanted me to do?
Perfect indicative.
Okay, and the perfect indicative was not an irregular form.
Right.
Okay, so then it'd be so perfect indicative would be all of the perfect endings. So patui, and then patuisti, and yeah.
Yep. And then Nathan, what would be the pluperfect?
Patueram.
Patueram, patueras,
Patueras.
patueram.
Yeah. Patueram.
Corey, the future perfect.
Yeah, at the particent.
You're in the pluperfect subjunctive.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So
future perfect indicative.
fuero.
Potuero. So the perfect stem, potu, and then eroere seret.
Okay.
And then Rachel, the perfect subjunctive.
Perfect subjunctive. the perfect indicative has the present stem. And then
It's almost
that was one of the so it would be, what is the fourth principal part here then?
Oh, so this is
No.
it's not passive, it's active.
Okay. So perfect subjunctive, not perfect indicative.
Yeah.
Um,
It's almost identical to the future perfect indicative. So.
future. So the perfect subjunctive. All I've got in my
Okay,
head is
it's okay.
the passive. Yeah.
Yeah. Potuerim, potueres, potueret. And then,
Oh, the and then the other one has the is. So the pluperfect subjunctive has the isse as the infix. Yeah.
potuisen, potuises, potuiset. Okay. Good. We're just gonna take a little time. I know we're already over time, but it just see if you can start recognizing this. The first form, potest. Are we using? Is it irregular or regular? Nathan, is it using the perfect stem or no?
It's irregular.
Yep, because it's not. It doesn't have potu.
Yeah,
If it has
yeah, it doesn't-
potu, it's the perfect stem.
Yeah.
If not, irregular. So pot plus the verb to be est. So could you translate?
I don't know. Something.
Well, what does est mean?
He is.
Yep, potest means he is able.
So he is. Oh, so he is able. Okay. He is
Yep.
able.
Corey, is this an irregular one, or are we using the perfect stem?
That's the perfect.
The perfect stem. So we have the pluperfect subjunctive. We won't bother about. Well, let's see. We might have been able.
Yeah.
Rachel, how about positis?
So that is the perfect indicative.
No.
Is that
It doesn't have potu, so it can't be something from the perfect stem.
oh, I was reading that ending wrong.
So it's not from the perfect stem, which means you take off the first three letters and see what's going on from the verb to be. So citis, what is that?
Oh, that's a weird essay.
Yeah, it's the present subjunctive of the verb.
Okay.
So positis is not y'all maybe, but positis.
Yeah. It's not you, maybe.
But it's, what is this for? Citis would be y'all maybe, but positis means something.
Y'all may
slightly
be able to.
different. Y'all may be able.
Okay.
Yep. Nathan, poteras.
So that's regular.
Irregular, yep.
Yeah.
Because we don't have potu.
Okay. So yeah, it's irregular, and that's imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be you were able to.
You were able, exactly. And then Corey, potueras.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Mm-hmm. We have the
Is that
perfect stem, so
subjunctive?
what? Yeah, eramerasera. No, this is the pluperfect indicative.
Okay. Yeah. So you singular. You may be able.
Pluperfect. You had
been able. Okay.
Had been able. Okay. That's more than I held you over too long. So, but if you want to go through the rest of those, that might be a helpful drill. And then there's something called a complementary infinitive. There are some verbs that need an infinitive to finish their meaning. So you might have to say, not just I like, but I like to sing. And that is a complementary infinitive. It's really not difficult. We translate it as an infinitive into English, as an infinitive in Latin. But it's just nice to know that it has a name. Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For tomorrow's quiz, we'll just do a little more parsing, but it won't be anything new yet.
Okay.
You have, we'll go over participles and paraphrastics again tomorrow with your homework.
So
Before.
you mean parsing of what we just learned today?
Nope, it would just be verbs that you could have had on your test. Right?
Oh,
Just,
okay.
just keeping that all fresh because you know how to do indicatives. Yeah. And then there will be a vocab section from Unit 5. So I'll ask you, what does, let's see, look at the vocab of Unit 5, what does luminous mean? And you tell me light, or I will tell you, I'll give you the English mother, and you'll give me mater matris.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. See you
Okay.
tomorrow.
And wait, home, and you said homework. What's on the syllabus?
What's on the syllabus? Whatever is on. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, bye.
Take it easy.